Hello, hello, hello. Do we got everybody in here? Give me a 5x5 if you guys can hear me. 5x5. Can we hear? Can we hear? Yay! My lovely wife gave me a 5x5. Okay, I have a public service announcement. We'll wait for a couple people to get in because I have a public service announcement from Amy that's really important for all you private room members. Um, Oh, look. I see I have a screen here that shows me the chat, but it also shows me when I go live, but it's delayed. I keep forgetting that. So I am live. This is Bix Live. I haven't done a live chat in a long time. We've been crazy busy with the Theta giveaway and putting all the coins together. My public service announcement, yes, you'll get your coin and your Theta. Don't worry, we're about somewhere around halfway through our mailers. It takes a while to get all those, sign all the cards, get all the Theta loaded onto the wallets, get them in the silver coin jar, and send them out, mail them to your front porch. And that's for all the new subscribers. I'm so happy you guys have joined the road to Ruta. It's different. It's crazy at times. Like right now, we're in year zero. My friend Cliff High was talking about this back in September, that everything will change this year, and clearly everything is changing. People have asked me for updates on Cliff. I think Cliff's doing fine. He wanted to back out of the social media world for a while. Last I heard, he's doing just fine. Don't worry about Cliff. He's part hermit. He's half freedom fighter, half brilliant crazy scientist, and half hermit. So he likes his time alone up there in Washington. So I try to give him as much space as we can handle. But I'll be reaching out to him soon and get it back on. And so much of what he said has helped so many people. Yes, you should be absolutely still taking care of your body. That is the only defense. Clearly, our government officials are not on our side. It is painfully obvious to everybody now that there's other agendas that have taken over the whole bioweapon thing. So yes, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. It's crazy in crypto world. Remember, everything's rigged. The number one thing you'll learn on the road to Ruta is everything is rigged via computer programs. These programs were written in the early 1960s by Alan Greenspan, and he worked with Arthur Burns, the head of the Fed, to implement those programs. They're run on every market now. The commodity markets, obviously gold and silver, which we'll talk about today, is silver, but also the stock market, the bond market, rehypothecation, multiple owners of shares, and the crypto markets are so rigged that they don't even regulate them. Just remember that. Look at the volumes. They are so rigged they can't even regulate them yet. Regulation for cryptos is just starting. If you hold a crypto that ICO'd, and good luck. Good luck with the regulators in the future. Definitely check and see if you have ICOs. We saw what they did to Reggie Middleton at Veritasium. They can do that to anybody. He had a really solid case against the SEC. He did everything that they told him to do, and they still threw the book at him. No, Veritasium is not dead. It is still stuck in limbo. I think Cliff's data on a lot of his data is coming true right now. If we see silver starting to jump $5 a pop, per day type of thing, we know that Cliff's predictions are on track for $600 silver. But not only that, his predictions are probably on track for the Veritasium overtaking Bitcoin. And right now you can get your Very at $5 or $6, something crazy. Anyway, I do want to talk about silver today because we are at it's the end of the month of deliveries. Now is the time when the SEC or the DOJ, this is way past the SEC and the CFTC. The manipulation of the price of silver it's been 150 years. It's been part of the fabric of our financial system, of the fiat monetary system, obviously. In order to run a fiat monetary system, you have to control the prices of gold and silver and all commodities, truthfully. Otherwise, that fiat system is going to crash and burn 8 to 9 years, 10 years sometimes. And that's what was happening in the end of the 1970s, beginning of the 1980s, when gold and silver were running high. And that was the normal course of things. And in history, it would have crashed. We would have gone back to a gold and silver standard and kept moving forward. Instead, Alan Greenspan implemented, at the behest of Ronald Reagan, implemented the computer program models back in 71 under Gerald Ford, and it ran through every president and is ongoing today. The computer programs to rig the silver, gold markets, as well as all the stock markets, the commodity market. Any market that has an exchange is 100% rigged. And if it's not rigged, they bring it into rigging. I remember when they brought the shipping rates. Shipping rates were determined by the heads of the shipping companies, on a bid basis. And then the Wall Street guys got a hold of that and turned it into an exchange where they could trade shipping derivatives, and destroyed that market. They destroyed the natural gas market. They destroy every market they get their hands on. And this is through the company called the Intercontinental Exchange, ICE. And that's the same company that's running the backed Bitcoin thing. And they basically run all markets, part of the deep state, part of the bad guys that control and rig our markets every day. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at prices of things. It's not real. There is no real pricing for anything. And the Roto-Rooter theory is, hey, let's take advantage of this by getting good, solid assets where there's no third party between you and your asset. Bring them into your own possession, meaning crypto's in your own possession, not in an online wallet, in your own possession, hardware wallet or paper wallet, and definitely silver in your own possession. Now, we are finding that very hard right now to get silver in your own possession because they tell you the price of silver is, I think it's nearing $18 now, which means the bankers lost another billion. 8 bankers lost another $1 billion. But it is completely separated from the true price of silver, physical silver, that you can get your hands on. And this is the criminality part of it. It has been rigged for so long, people don't even know what silver's worth these days. My estimate would be 1-to-1 with gold at some point. And the reason I say that is there's 6 billion ounces of silver in the world above ground that can be gotten. It's not in anybody's vault. Maybe half of that's in the vaults. Half of that's in silverware and flat screen TVs. You see, that stuff will never be recycled until we have $1,000, $2,000 silver. So it's about 6 billion of each that should determine the price. Not the COMEX, not the LBMA. Those are the only two exchanges for silver. LBMA claims to trade 130 billion ounces of silver, as in shipping 130 billion ounces of silver every year, which is stupid. Clearly, they don't ship that much physical silver. There isn't that much silver in the world that's ever been mined. It's only I think we're about 60 billion ounces that's ever been mined, and the LBMA claims to physically transfer 130 billion every year. It's insane. And the COMEX isn't much better, although they do claim to be futures and options. So that's another criminal thing that will be going away at some point. I'm seeing someone say 1844 right now. Yeah, I don't see. That's the thing about silver. The price of silver you see is the price. That's the price determined on the COMEX. Not really the LBMA, because it's not an exchange; it's an association. So they don't publish prices. They tell you there's no exchanging of, hey, Joe went in there to buy some silver and he got it for this price. You have to be a member. You have to be part of the club, and then they announce what the prices are. But the COMEX is the closest thing we have. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. The good side of all this is the market riggers. The number one market rigger has been J.P. Morgan. They're probably the number one market rigger in every single market, including what happened to gas, oil and gas. That should never have happened, but J.P. Morgan forced that to happen so they can make a few extra billion. And Jamie Dimon comes out and says, "Oh yeah, we gotta change our system to benefit the little people." Screw you, Jamie Dimon. Are you kidding me? The world's biggest criminal, financial criminal, is lecturing us how we should treat the poor. Give me a break. Yes, Jamie Dimon should be going down. The DOJ has 6 J.P. Morgan traders under indictment. I think 3 of them are turning state's evidence, and 3 of them are fighting it. That's what I hear. And I think 4 of the 6 are being charged with RICO charges, which is racketeering charges. And it is rumored, and the rumors were spread by the DOJ, that JP Morgan is up on RICO charges as well. And RICO charges in silver manipulation would mean the penalties, the legal penalties, are 3 times what you stole. So right now, JP Morgan has over 1 billion ounces of physical, supposedly, that they took off the market, according to Ted Butler, which, of course, Ted is 100% right, and he has the data to prove it. And with RICO charges, the government can go after Jamie Dimon for 3 billion ounces of silver, which he can't get his hands on. Voila, all of a sudden you have a 1-to-1 gold to silver relationship. That's how that kind of stuff works. So it's not out of the realm. No, I don't think it'll go 1-to-1 right away. I think although there's a lot of silver's easier to mine. Most silver mines happen closer to the Earth's surface, whereas gold can be found at the Earth's surface and down at deeper levels in the Earth. And there's a hell of a lot more hidden gold mines in California, in the Grand Canyon, Chocolate Mountain, Yamash's gold. There's so much gold out there. The world is dripping gold. And I've had this confirmed on many cases and my own research. So if you don't believe me, if you believe Jeffrey Christian that there's only 200,000 tons of gold that have ever been mined in the world, that's your right. Believe who you want to believe. Ask Jeffrey Christian where he gets his data. He'll say, it's always been. Everybody's known that. GFMS told us back in the 1960s. That's what Jeff says. Jeffrey Christian is a criminal. He should go down with Jamie Dimon and friends, in my opinion. He's a criminal because he lies every 2 seconds. He says, there's no such thing in silver manipulation. That's a bunch of tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff. And now all of a sudden we're finding out, yes, there are people admitting that they rigged the gold and silver markets. Bart Chilton, CFTC commissioner, came out and admitted that JP Morgan was rigging the silver market when it took it over from Bear Stearns, took over the gigantic short position right before he passed away. So there is no secrets that silver is rigged. Everybody knows that silver is rigged. So you got to ask Jeffrey Christian, who's been the basher of the GATA folks and myself and Ted Butler, where does he get his justifiable position now that people have admitted to rigging the silver market? Jeffrey Christian was part of the cabal putting together that gold and silver leasing operations. That's what he did with Robert Rubin in the 1990s. And Jeffrey Christian belongs in jail, in my opinion. Him and Jamie Dimon and Blythe Masters can share a little cell and, cuddle up together. I don't care what they do. Just get them off the streets and get them out of the markets. That's my take there. And yes, there is oh my God. Okay, I gotta say this one. I was looking at the chat room. Bitstar says, John Kim beat Tone Vase in an arm wrestling match. Anybody could beat Tone Vase in an arm wrestling match. Tone Vase is... I've met him once. He was pathetic then, he's pathetic now. That's my take on Tone. Him and his maximalist, I'm the expert. He's a freaking idiot. So, anyway, yeah. We had a drunken encounter at an Acapulco, and he's spouting off about what a great trader he was and something like that. I think he worked for Bear Stearns as a junior, entry-level dude, and he talks his story, but there's nothing behind that guy except a lot of fraud, if you ask me. Anyway. All right, let's go into the chat room. So my take on silver is, yes, we are closer than we've ever been. The leaked information to Reuters it was last week or beginning of this week, saying that the COMEX and the DOJ are adding a lot of new talent to their talent pool, and they have new tools to not only catch the current manipulators of the commodity markets, but to go into past data and bust the crimes that have been done in the past. As we know, JP Morgan is now long silver on the COMEX and long physical over 1 billion ounces. So they thought they got away with it, but the DOJ is clearly saying, no, you didn't get away with it. We're coming after you with our new tools. The question is what day and what will that do to the price of silver? I do expect the price of silver to stop trading for a while. And that's because it cannot rise without destroying some too big to fail banks. Citibank, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Scotia's already on their way out. There's all kinds of banks going to have to say, yeah, we lost a few billion here. They'll probably call it restructuring when they fail, but Bear Stearns fell because of the silver short they had. JP Morgan is going to do the same. Drexel Burnham did the same. AIG did the same. Having the silver short is very dangerous for your shareholders, shall we say. So, all right, let's go to the chat room. We're going to open up chat about anything. I just read this morning that the cop that killed the guy, Mr. Floyd, they worked together as bouncers. And I'm like, oh, great. Here we go again. So I don't know what's going on with that. I reserve judgment until it's usually a week or two afterwards that we know the truth. So just keep an eye on that. All right. Questions from Inclusive Model Designs. Bix, my post office has silver coins, but they have images printed on them. Are they still good? No, there's a lot of collectibles. The collectibles are usually not worth much at all. I mean, the true mintage, the old numismatic value, yeah, that's good for collectors. But the ones, they spray paint and things like that, truthfully, they don't hold their value all that much. If anything, it's more of a pain to melt them down to get all the paint off them to get the silver. So if you want to buy some coins, here's my advice. This has always been my advice. Go to your local coin shop and strike up some relationships with your local guys. And there's local silver shops everywhere. Every big city has 2 or 3. If you don't have one near you and you don't trust anybody, which you shouldn't because there's a lot of fakes out there, send Andy Scheckman an email, andy@milesfranklin.com. Andy's been working with Road to Ruta customers for years now, and he'll get you the real deal. Tell him you only want to buy what you're ready to ship, what he's got in inventory, and he'll give you a good price. So Andy Scheckman, the email is andy@milesfranklin.com. But there's also other ones. If you trust somebody, great. Now is the time you need to trust people, though, because we could have the silver market breaking free any moment. I think the COMEX has closed. I think it's past 10 o'clock Pacific time. And, yeah, they close at 1 o'clock Eastern time because they don't want anybody buying metal all weekend, right? Can't have any of that. And then their derivatives market go all weekend. So it's crazy. It's insane. But, hey, that's the world we live in when we have computers and derivatives trading in markets. And we have no regulators other than to run cover for the official manipulation. So, all right, let's go to the chat board. Chris Lajabi. I'm sure Lajambi. I didn't say it right, but that's right. Canada stopped all mailing of gold and silver. All mailing of gold and silver is next. Did Canada stop the shipment of gold and silver? I hope not, because we're sending coins up there. We call them medallions, though, so they get through customs. They are medallions. They're Road to Ruta medallions. The coolest silver coin ever made, I must say. But yeah, again, for those of you who just came in who are Road to Ruta members, we are working on the mailers. About half of them have gone out. If you join the private road on Road to Ruta, we're giving away 1 silver Ruta coin and either 100 or 50 or 10 Theta coins, Theta tokens loaded on a paper wallet. That's for the private road membership, 1 year at $2.99. Go to roadruta.com, go check it out. Anyway, we've mailed about half. We got about half to go. Amy's working her butt off. I had to drag her away just to be a moderator for this thing. But it will get to you. Road to Ruta has never not delivered their coins. So absolutely, a little patience. Probably everything will be out by next week. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm pretty sure we got a good groove going. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, give me a like. Give me a like and a thumbs up. We did hit the 70,000 viewership mark, which is amazing because YouTube had pretty much put us on lockdown for the last year and a half, where we couldn't get over 70. They kept knocking it down. We finally hit 70, and I don't know. They'll probably knock it down again. My video this morning about fake silver eagles that were being mass produced in China got banned. Well, got demonetized instantly on on YouTube, so I had to change it to the public road. Make sure you guys are on the Road to Ruta website, public road, because I mail out. It's free on the public road. Just put your name and email address right at roadtoruta.com. It's on the left side, and then you'll get all the things that YouTube won't let me won't let me show people. Yeah, that's it. I took the video down, Wonka. I took the video down because you can tell when you post these things if they're not giving you your numbers right away, and it says it's analyzing the video, and then it instantly hit demonetized. I deleted the thing and then put it out on Patreon and on the Road to Ruta public site. So, and it's all about silver, fake silver coins being made that look exactly like real silver eagles, but they don't weigh the same. And you can tell if you know, but a lot of people don't know. So just be careful about that. Crypto Chris Carr, what up, bud? You're always on here. Theta Fuel is not on CoinSwitch, so how to buy? It has been on and off CoinSwitch. They only do the switch when there's someone on the other side who's willing to sell their Theta. So it's coinswitch.co. You can do it. I think it's only with Litecoin and Ethereum. I'm not sure if they're doing it right now. There's a couple others, but the problem is it's traded on Binance, but if you're a U.S. citizen, your government hates you. And since our government hates us, they don't let us use foreign crypto exchanges. So, yes, blame Steve Mnuchin, blame Chris Giancarlo is the guy who, along with Trump and Mnuchin, slammed the Bitcoin price back in 2017, 2018, intentionally to pop the bubble. Chris Giancarlo was the head of the CFTC at the time. Blame your government. If you don't like that you can't buy something, there's no free markets in the United States of America, blame Donald Trump, blame Steve Mnuchin, blame Chris Giancarlo. That's my only beef I got with Trump. He doesn't believe in free markets because he knows that the system would be destroyed if we had free markets because they're so distorted. They've been distorted for, well, with gold, it's since 1912, 1910 really, when they found the gold in the Grand Canyon and had to create the Federal Reserve System just to cover up those massive amounts of gold they found in the Grand Canyon. So yeah, if you want to be mad at crypto prices, be mad at Steve Mnuchin, Donald Trump. Chris Giancarlo is no longer the head of the CFTC. Some other guy. Same story. They run cover for the manipulation. They are not there for the people. Their job is to keep the fake system going, and that's what they do. So I love Trump. Don't get me wrong. I really love Trump. And yes, he might have to do this with the markets, but no country has become great on the premise of a rigged market. Only free markets ensure your freedom. Where have I heard that song? Free markets are the road to freedom. Right here. That's the road to freedom. And Road to Root is all about free markets. Chris Card, I've heard bad things about Binance. Absolutely. The crypto cabal. Binance they'll steal your money. They'll freeze your account and trade while things are hot. So they make sure they get all. There is no regulator. It's one of those things. There's good things and bad things about regulators. The good thing is they claim to regulate the market, make sure it's freely traded. The bad thing is they lie. So a true free market is rife with market rigging. The problem is the regulators. Without the regulators, we would have free markets in America because everybody would leave companies like Binance. But because we don't have free markets and we got crazy regulators, market manipulation is allowed to flourish, and people aren't aware of that. So my job here on planet Earth at this time is to show people that these markets are 100% manipulated and rigged with computer programs written in the early 1960s by Alan Greenspan and friends, implemented by the banks. JP Morgan, a huge electronic trading firm. Bernie Madoff, huge electronic trading firm. I'm watching a special on Jeffrey Epstein on Netflix. It's going deeper than a lot of people go, but they're not talking about how he worked for the Mossad and he was a computer trader back in. That's how he made his millions, helping Bernie Madoff set up the phony fake trading that the Mossad was using. It was a $500 billion Ponzi. It wasn't a Ponzi. It was a way to pay off a certain group of people in the United States. That's who were playing with the bad guys. It was completely a deep state thing that was taken down by Michael Mukasey and his son, especially his son, Mark Mukasey. Michael Mukasey was Attorney General. Road to Ruta has all this stuff. You got to go to roadtoruta.com. Go check it out. You can search for anything in the search function. Search for Michael Mukasey or Mark Mukasey in there. Because Michael Mukasey's son, was the DA in New York who took down Bernie Madoff, and his father was the U.S. Attorney General. So he was kind of handcuffed with all the 9/11 stuff, but he was the leader of the good guys. And now back then it was the Q movement before Q was talked about. If you're on Road to Ruta, you know I've been saying there's been good guys since 2007 when the Fed released the comic book Wishes and Rainbows, talks about going back to a gold standard and taking out the big people. So yes, Q has been around for a long time. And is the current Q the same Q? I don't know. But a lot of good information is coming out. Theta short term. I don't know about Theta short term. I don't invest in cryptos for the short term. Yes, Theta's up 500% since in about a month, and yes, it went up 1,000% or whatever it went up to 55 something crazy, and now it's back at 30. Theta is a long-term hold for me. If you're on the Road to Ruta, I did a special on Theta. I talked a lot about how Theta will fit into the 5G network. All the telecommunications companies are struggling with 5G bandwidth. They cannot produce it. They're losing money. And their only hope is that the people take over the expansion of the bandwidth needed for 5G, and that's what Theta solved. Amazing invention. Everybody's bought into it. Look at the people involved. Samsung, Google now was announced is involved. Theta, I think, at some point will be bigger than Bitcoin. Why? Because it's going to be more secure. How about a Guardian node on every smart TV? So, yeah. Theta is, I don't care what happens to Theta short term. I would love if it fell down more. I would buy some more if I could get my hands on it. Now, I'm grandfathered into Binance. That's the other thing. Binance is, they stopped new accounts for the U.S. because of all the draconian regulation they had to go through. But they were able to grandfather in those who had accounts over 2 years old. So that's how I got my Theta to give away at Road to Ruta. All right. Justin Martin, 5G. Why would we want something that can kill us for faster internet speeds? I don't understand. Yeah, it's an issue and a problem. I mean, all microwaves are in the process of killing us. All the 3G, 4G, 5G. The question is, can we change our bodies? Are our bodies changing? The future is definitely going to be 5G. And, does it kill us faster? Could be. Is there something we can take or something we can do to protect ourselves? Probably as well. Don't forget that advances in technology go both ways. It's like the nuclear bomb. It created a lot of real cheap, clean energy, but at the same time, it can blow us up. 5G is kind of the same way. I don't trust it, but I know I can't stop it. 5G is required for the future of Internet of Things, the IoT world, and the sci-fi world that Cliff High talks about. So there you go. Will there be a new kind of body-friendly 5G? Probably. Remember, science doesn't stop once something is invented. So, Josh, hey, thank you for the super chat. Average household credit card debt is $8,400. What's going to happen to all this debt? Nobody pays, and credit card companies go belly up. Yeah, you could say that for the last 50 years. Remember, the unbacked fiat monetary system is unlimited, and it's a trust-based system. So yes, the Fed's creating. I think the latest. I lost track of the number. I need to go back and fill it in. Just for the banks, I think it's over $4 trillion now. For the people, $6 trillion. The people, it's basically the banks. So the people can pay the banks $6 trillion. If it was 6 quadrillion, it wouldn't matter. Nothing matters in a faith-based system that they can create as much as they want. So you got to get your head around that, and then you instantly turn to gold, silver, and cryptos, the good cryptos, and say, okay, now I get why it's so important to hold these assets, because it's a faith-based system. And as soon as the faith is gone, clearly the DOJ is preparing that faith to be gone with their announcements about JP Morgan. And they're going to take down JP Morgan. It's just a matter of when. They don't want to be the one to cause the crash of the system. They want to be the one to clean up the bullshit. So, hey, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up. We got 1,000 people on this. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. So I hope that explained it. Yes, the system should have crashed probably in 1913. And as insane as it sounds for the Fed to be creating trillions of dollars, it was insane for the Fed to be creating millions of dollars back in the 80s. And it's going to be insane for the Fed to be creating $1 quadrillion by the end of this year. It is an insane system. It's a faith-based system, and that is what I believe will die at some point. All right. Wait, all right, where are we? I've lost track of the chat room. Mr. Bricks. Don't call me Mr. Bricks. Isn't Bricks the name of that the crazy healthcare worker that Trump, somebody in charge of all our lives? These governors got to go, by the way. I'm so fed up with it. I was reading in New York, they said, oh, restaurants won't be at least minimally open until August, and then who knows if we ever go back to the way. Who are these people to decide this? They need to be booted, if you ask me. All right. Wolf Chain Crypto got it right. They say the 1912 Titanic sinking was designed by JP Morgan because there were people on that ship that opposed the formation of the Federal Reserve. Absolutely. If you read Creature from Jekyll Island, G. Edward Griffith, he got that absolutely right, the whole book except one thing. He didn't know why Woodrow Wilson agreed to it. And he just thought, they were all part of the Woodrow Wilson and the administration was part of the banker side. No, they had no choice. They had to pass the Federal Reserve System because they found billions and billions and billions of ounces of gold in the Grand Canyon. And, oh, by the way, there was only 130 million ounces of gold in the U.S. used as money. So if you have 130 million ounces of gold used as money by the U.S. and you introduce billions and billions of ounces, you have a major problem, not only an economic problem, a concentration of wealth problem, a problem with all the elite on planet Earth would have seen the value of their riches, which many of them held in gold, disappearing. So there was many reasons. The society would have broken down, you name it. And those were all the reasons to create the Federal Reserve, plus everything that G. Edward Griffith said. But the real reason was the Grand Canyon. And yes, it was Woodrow Wilson that locked up the Grand Canyon and said, you cannot mine there. You cannot, all you can do is stand up on the cliff and look down at the Grand Canyon. 95% of all the caves in the Grand Canyon are off limits. Why? You're not allowed to go hiking down there at the bottom except on designated trails. Why? Well, one, it's freaking hot down there at the bottom. Not that we went to the bottom. Amy and I went halfway down. It took a full day going, well, not a full day, maybe 6 hours down and up. We were on, Amy, what was that trail we were on? Angel something. Blue Angel or something like that. It was like a code name from Top Gun. Beautiful. I do want to spend a good month there. I would love it if I was a Bright Angel. There you go. It's from the movie Aloha. That was the Bright Angel was the secret thing they were doing. Anyway, beautiful, amazing spot on planet Earth. filled with gold, massively filled with gold. So I hope to get back there. I hope to be allowed to go to the base of the pyramids in the Grand Canyon, check out if Dick Allgire's RV was correct, that there is massive amounts of gold, basically refined gold at the base of those ancient pyramids. Yes, this is the History Channel. East Pro, thank you for the super chat. Apply for a big biz loan before or after negative rates. I don't know. That's something that, when you start sucking off the teeth of the government, it's hard to stop. Right now, we have people paid to be rioters by the government because they got no jobs for them. They said, we're going to pay you for sitting there. And they decided, I don't want to sit here. I want to go loot and riot and cause havoc. You probably should, based on what your government's doing to you, but you're doing it for the wrong reasons. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting what happens. I think this is the big change that Penny Kelly was talking about, is the change in people's attitude towards the authority. Who is the authority, and why should we trust these people who said, oh, we're going to quarantine perfectly healthy people? This is the first time in history perfectly healthy people have been quarantined. I get quarantining sick people, perfectly healthy people. If you were to tell me in December that the United States of America would pretty much go along with a shutdown of business for 2 months, 3 months, and not raise much havoc and have their lives destroyed, if you were going to tell me we would submissively do that, I would have said you're crazy. And now here we are. That's what we've done. So it's time to go back outside, load up on chaga, load up on vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc, and you'll be fine. Unless you have pre-existing conditions, then stay away. It's up to you. I don't have a problem with government paying for that, but paying for able-bodied people to stay home and as their jobs get destroyed, there's a problem there. And we got to get to the bottom of who was behind it. Yes, there were people behind the creation of this. It's not just China. It's probably Soros to the deep state and the aliens and you name it. The people we are fighting against, it happened right when they failed on their last impeachment bullshit. Now, the other thing I'm scared about, because I know they have the ability, is, yeah, they can release a bioweapon. What's their next move? Could it be suitcase nukes? Placed wherever. This is the crazy world we're living in now. This is year zero, and you got to be flexible. You got to be able to move. You got to be able to change. We've been talking a long time at Road to Ruta about multiple income streams. Those of you involved in cryptos, get on Ben's Patreon channel. All he's doing these days is trying to get people jobs, get people invested in the new economy, because he knows the old one, people aren't going to have jobs. The old one's dying, and they're killing it on purpose. So we'll see. I think Trump, good time to release the secret technologies, free energy, flying cars, all that stuff. It's a great time for that because we're going to need something moving forward. Right? Mr. Trump, if you're such a good guy, show us. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the technology. Show me the replicators. Yes, replicators are in our future. I don't think they will be around for at least 30 or 40 years. If we are the ones inventing them, we got a good head start. We're making 3D computers, 3D printers that I saw a 3D printer print a house. Yes, print a house with a 3D printer. So the technology is coming faster. We're learning more about how molecules are made from energy and things like that. And then we will have, at some point, the Star Wars or Star Trek replicators where you punch in a cheeseburger and you get a cheeseburger out. It's all made from energy, putting together molecules, putting together the structure of the cheese and the pickle and all that stuff, and poof. Because we'll have the technology to do that. And when that comes around, there's no real need for money. And that'll change a lot of things. What would you do as a human being living here on the planet or living off planet with your time if you didn't have to work for the man? You could do whatever you wanted, or you can do nothing as long as you don't harm other people, which is I think is a universal constant. People should have free will, and that's what pissed me off about this demanding that everybody be on lockdown. We need free will. You can't take away our free will. If you want to risk going out and opening up your business, that should be your choice. And your business is open. You're not telling anybody, you have to come into my business. That's the government's job to tell you what to do. But you're saying, I am going to open up my business because I spent my whole life trying to build this thing. And politicians and pseudoscientists and social workers are going to tell me I have to shut it down? No. We have to stand up for ourselves. And now's the time. And I think it is happening. It's going to come out in all different kinds of things like riots and protests. And ultimately, the people will win over the government. Government has nothing good, had never supplied good to humanity, ever. So we will see. Yeah, CNN reporter, you don't know in all that news coming out of the riots, you don't know what's staged, what's fake, what's real. We'll know more in a couple weeks when the conspiracy guys get done analyzing what really happened. That's always the best way to go. Wait a couple weeks. Something big happens, wait a couple weeks. Let's see if it's real. Let's see if it's fake. Because, I mean, the truth warriors out, Sean at SGT, he'll get to the bottom of it. All these guys who are really digging in anytime something big happens it's so quick. It's so quick that, I mean, the day after this guy that Floyd died, they're like, hey, that cop, they knew each other. They worked together as bouncers. Is there something else going on? I don't know. So, yeah. Kind of crazy. All right, let's see what else we got in the chat room. You guys having fun? If you're having fun, give me 2 thumbs up and subscribe and like and all that stuff. Oh, hit the little bell too. Also, go to roadtoruta.com and you can put your name in to get free updates, email updates. All right, Wolf Chain Crypto, Bix, how can a commodity trading on COMEX actually be a commodity if it is cash settled? Sounds like fraud. Well, COMEX is a futures and options trading floor. Theoretically, it's not a physical exchange, although there is a physical component, a delivery component, that is very restrictive. I think only 10 million ounces could be withdrawn, even though they trade 100 plus billion ounces every year. So it is a fraud. So yes, you're right. We need a real silver exchange. It won't happen while the banksters are in charge, and I think that is going to run out. Thank you for the super chat over logins. Does running a Theta pre-Guardian node earn you more Theta fuel than running an Edge node? I don't know. And there's going to be a new way to do it with the Mainnet 2.0 was released. And I think June 1st, they're going to release how to get pre-Guardian nodes up and running on 2.0. Although I think my Guardian node that I'm running right now, pre-Guardian node is still up and running, last I checked. I don't check it all the time because it runs in the background and you don't even have to look at it. That's the beauty of Theta. And I don't know if they're going to have, I think it's 10,000 Theta you have to have as a minimum to run a pre-Guardian node on your laptop. Not sure about that. If you guys know, I haven't dug that deep into it, truthfully. Too much to do. Okay, Codfish. 1126. Pre-Guardian node shares 20.8 million Theta fuel per month divided by the amount of Theta staked. There you go. That wasn't quite the question, but yeah, definitely. If you got Theta, stake it up and run a Guardian node, and you can participate in one. You'll earn Theta fuel, and I think the Theta fuel to Theta relationship will get sorted out after time. I think it'll settle in the 10 to 20 to 1 range. I know they were given out at 5 to 1, but remember, Theta Fuel has a 5% inflator every year, but it might even be less than 10 to 1. And right now, I think it's at 40 to 1. So if I was buying Theta or Theta Fuel right now, I think I'd buy Theta Fuel because of the relationship between the two. Don't know. That is not investment advice. That is not investment advice. All right. What we got going on? Someone has the name the Ruta Family Community. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for being part of the Ruta Family Community. James Walker's running a pre-Guardian node. Very nice. Ben Wienersgaard, when will the silver price go up? I would say January 1st, 1999 is when I first started getting into silver and said it's massively undervalued. I don't know what day. It will probably be when well, it depends what you mean going up. If you mean going up like 10, 20, 50, 100%, that could happen any day with the COMEX still being intact. If you're talking 1,000, 2,000, 3,000%, 10,000%, that would be the shutdown of the COMEX, the arrests of the criminals, and then the restart of a new and real, let's just call it a real market for silver. I think that is coming. It might involve Veritasium as well, or decentralized exchanges. We all know that everything's got to change. The amount of rehypothecation, the amount of market rigging, a lot of talk about the DTCC these days. I posted another video on that. My old interview with Sean at SGT Report. There's just fraud. It's just massive fraud in the exchanges, and that's what these banks have been allowed to get away with for over 100 years, and that's what's ending now. So it's a big deal. The ending of market rigging is going to be a big deal, and humanity is ready for it. And that is a big part of the year zero transition that we're in right now. Where can you buy Theta? Again, coinswitch.co. I think they only trade Litecoin and Ethereum for Theta. Not sure about that. Definitely Theta will be coming to Coinbase, be coming to Kraken and Gemini and all the exchanges. So there's plenty of good news to look forward to on Theta. It's a long-term hodl for me. I do want to go down in the 20s. Would be nice if it got in the 20s. Be a good buy time type thing, and then just stick it away for a couple years. Michelle White Dove has it going to over $1,000 per coin, $3,000 per coin over time. And at first I was like, no way. And then you do some research into it and how important it'll be for the future of broadband streaming. And we all know how important that is. And then all these companies that are 100% knee deep in it, Samsung, Google, YouTube. Yes, YouTube is owned by Google, and YouTube, one of the founders of YouTube, is on the advisory board of Theta. It's an amazing invention as far as how it will help so many of these big companies who are struggling with 5G implementation and the amount of people streaming now. And just think of the future. The Internet of Things needs massive bandwidth, and you can do that with Theta because you got thousands of Guardian nodes, hundreds of thousands, millions of Guardian nodes securing the system and relaying broadband. Amazing story. It reminds me of the Bitcoin stories back when Bitcoin was, 20, 30 cents. Nobody knew what it would do, but it had a lot of potential. And here we are sitting with Theta at, 30 cents. Nobody really knows what it can do, but it has a lot of potential. So 5 years from now, I do think it'll be a more secure network than Bitcoin even, and not as costly. So we'll see where it goes. Definitely, if you don't have any, you should get some Theta and some Theta Fuel as well. You need Theta Fuel to do any transactions, just a tiny, tiny amount, but you need both. And you can download the Theta mobile wallet is great. You can make paper wallets at MyEtherWallet because it runs off the SHA-256 cryptography. So they use the same methodology of creating wallets. So it's pretty cool. And now hardware wallets are different. There is a way to store on Nano and Trezor. Look it up though, because you got to make some changes and things like that. But everybody soon will be. What was that? James Walker. Everybody will know about Theta. Will be using Theta in the future. James, so is Theta paying Google with Theta Fuel? No, I don't know. But they are, yeah. Well, the Theta, they're running a masternode or something. I don't think it's called a masternode. Anyway, they made an announcement. Go check out the announcement. Theta posts most of their announcements on Medium, medium.com, I think. So check that out. Adolph White, thank you for the $2. Junior. There was another one. Overlogins, do you think the Theta Web wallet is safe to store our Theta? Yeah, the Theta, well, there's the mobile wallet and then there's the desktop. Everything is risky if it's online. So, but I haven't heard anything bad about if you do it right, yeah, it's safe. I personally like paper wallets because I know I can create a paper wallet without it ever touching the internet. Nobody would find that. I bought a laptop that has never seen the internet. I bought a printer that has never seen the internet. I bought a cable that has never seen the internet, and then I lock them in a box. And that's how I made my paper wallets. So, but yeah, the mobile wallet, I think is really safe, and it's fast, and it's good. And if you do the online wallet, I think but you gotta be careful with all this stuff. There's safe, and there's safer, and there's safest, and then there's a vault, and then there's uncrackable, and there's layers to all this stuff. Dunk Naylor, you should be calculating the loaf of bread to 1 ounce silver ratio. When hyperinflation hits, you need to know whether you're going to get more food for your silver. Well, the problem with hyperinflation, I don't think hyperinflation will be allowed. When you can rig the computer markets for all commodities, you don't know, hyperinflation doesn't exactly turn out the way you think it would. On the flip side of that, I think we're more likely to have a huge deflation when the banks crash because no one will have any cash and the system freezes up, and then it probably won't even be it'll have to be a reallocated different form of money. So if anything, I think if the banks crash, you're looking at deflation because all money goes away. And where does inflation go? Right now, all inflation goes to bailing out banks, so it doesn't really turn into inflation. Over time, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. Best thing you can do, buy gold and silver. You don't have to worry about what's going to happen to the dollar because it's rigged. The dollar's rigged. Surprise, surprise. So it might just be that people no longer use that system. Trump and China are fighting like cats and dogs. So maybe they'll both say, screw you, I'm going to buy $1 billion worth of silver and destroy all silver shorts, and then you have 20 banks you got to bail out. That's the problem when you have a fake system, is it makes you very susceptible to foreign intervention in your markets. I mean, if China's real mad at us, they know exactly what's going on with gold and silver. China will go in and say, hey, we're going to buy every silver ounce on planet Earth. And we'll pay $1,000 per ounce, and all silver will go to China, and the banks that are short silver on the COMEX would be destroyed instantly, and thus destroying the unbacked fiat monetary system. It's easy to do now. So, anyway, I do have to run. Thank you guys for joining on this silver discussion and discussion on the Road to Ruta. Again, like and subscribe, and go to roadtoruta.com. We got all kinds of new videos there. We will be releasing, I hear, the full video of my intro and exit thing, the Crypto Warrior song. We're working on a video for that, and it's going to be really cool. And Josh is doing a great job out there for Road to Ruta, along with Paige and Amy. That's my staff right now. But again, if you have joined the Road to Ruta lately and you're waiting on your coin and your Theta, we're about halfway through with the shipments. You will get an email. you'll get an email saying, okay, your coin is shipped, and you can track it. And if you want to join the Road to Ruta and get your coin, silver coin, and Theta token, go to roadtoruta.com, hit subscribe today. It'll tell you all about it. All right, you guys, take care, be safe, buy silver. Again, you can contact Andy Scheckman, andy@milesfranklin.com for your silver that you need to get in your pocket. You guys, thank you again. Take care. I'll talk to you later.